All right, it is about mid-June, and it's June 18th, and we gotta pick our next manga. Have I not picked the manga for June yet? Oops. I thought I had already done that, and in my brain, I was like, yeah, easy. I thought I had already done it, or that I was gonna do that like 2 weeks ago, and clearly I haven't, and it's just hit me that it's already halfway through the month. So that's fine, nothing to worry about here. We're gonna shuffle now. There's only 7 left, so we're gonna shuffle 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's see what we land on. I kind of have a couple that I have a preference for. I'm gonna be honest, that wasn't it. Nothing against Chainsaw Man. Nothing against it. Let me grab it. Hold on. All right. It's not anything against Chainsaw Man. I've just kind of been hoping for either Girl Crush or Spy Family or Gannibal for the last couple of times. And now that I've said it out loud, that's probably not going to happen. Those are probably going to be like the last 3. That's probably going to be like October, November, December. But that's okay. So, Chainsaw Man. I want to say this is also an anime. I think. Let me look it up before I've already said it, but now I'm going to look it up to see whether I was right or not. Okay, it is an anime. I've never seen it though. So if you were expecting me to have been like, yeah, I've seen the first, I think I've seen the first episode, I haven't. Also, I still haven't watched Dan to Dan. So, sorry. If you were hoping for me to report back on that, I still haven't watched it. I've been watching Love Island. Okay, things have been a little chaotic. It's fine. All right, we have our June. Is it? I really thought I had already picked out June's anime. I thought I had already picked out June's manga. Clearly I haven't. You know what I've been doing? I've been reading Die Dark. Maybe that's why I'm so confused. I've been reading Die Dark, and so I guess in my brain I'm like, yeah, I've already been reading some manga this month. So clearly I've already picked some out, but it's not for the mini manga 12 and 12. That's just for me. But we've got our mini manga picked out. It's Chainsaw Man, and I'll get back to you after I've read it. I'll let you know what I think. I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I liked it more than I thought I would. I know I didn't sound too excited when the wheel landed on Chainsaw Man, and to be honest, there are a couple other ones that I was looking forward to a little bit more than this one. I picked it out for a reason. When I was gathering all of my 12 and 12 manga, I tried to get a wide variety. I was trying to get some popular ones and that I had heard of myself, and I was also trying to get some that I knew had been TV shows. And I think at the time I was like, I'm pretty sure this is an anime. I did have to remind myself it is an anime. I've never seen it. So I was just trying to get a variety of manga, but also ones that, while reading the summary, still sounded interesting to me. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect going into this, but by the end of it, I'm ready to continue this one. I probably won't continue it at the same rate as a couple of other ones, like not as quickly. I'm excited to keep going with this one, and that's not what I was expecting by the end of this. So Chainsaw Man starts off with Denji. That's him in Chainsaw Devil form. Let me find what he looks like in just human form. Please hold. Oh, look, this is Pochita, this little guy right here. He's basically like a devil dog. He's like a chainsaw devil dog. He's so cute. We love him. Here's a cute picture of them together. His name's Denji. And so he's just a kid. I believe he is 14, 16. He's like a teenager. He's not even like an adult yet. But TLDR, his dad had a debt, and his dad has decided to not live any longer. And I guess he owed the debt to this random dude. And the debt then falls to Denji. It's a really big number. And the guy's like, okay, well, you have to figure out how to pay this exorbitant amount of money by tomorrow, the day after they bury his dad, or I'm gonna come back and kill you. Okay. So Denji starts working for this guy as a devil hunter. This book is kind of like if Men in Black were real, but everybody knows about the aliens, and if aliens were devils. Devils exist, everybody knows about them, and there's like devil hunters, both government agencies and then just like random people who call themselves devil hunters. And that's just a thing that exists in this world. Back on track. Denji starts taking up different little odd jobs for this guy, and he finds Pochita. So Denji ends up running into the little devil dog, Pochita, the little chainsaw devil dog, and they work together. They're taking down devils. They're just being a couple dudes hanging out until one day when Denji gets tricked by the guy he was hired for, except it wasn't the guy. The guy got taken over by a zombie devil, but Denji thought it was the guy. And he goes to the place where he's like, okay, here's the job, I'm ready to go. And it turns out the guy got taken over by a zombie devil, and the guy is now a zombie, and Denji dies. Well, Pochita says, you're not dying on me, man. And he basically merges with Denji's body. Denji's been cut up into pieces, by the way, because the zombie devil says, yo, I don't like that you're a devil hunter. That's not cool with me, which I mean, that makes sense because he's a devil and then Denji's a devil hunter. So of course they wouldn't like each other. That makes sense. So they cut up Denji's body into different pieces. But then Pochita's like, not on my watch. And he merges with Denji's body and like pulls them back together. So now he's a devil human. He's part devil, part human. So after Pochita merges with Denji's body, he comes back to life and he becomes this guy. He's a chainsaw devil. He doesn't really realize that though. And after he morphs and, kind of busts out into his devil form, he ends up killing the zombie devil. Right after he ends up getting rid of the zombie devil, who walks through the door but the public safety devil hunters, which is essentially the Men in Black. And, they're like, what happened? They were on their way to deal with the zombie devil, but Denji got there first. Mainly because he was already there. So he gets taken in by the Men in Black, the public safety devil hunters. It's a whole operation. It's a whole thing. Because the lady in charge, she gives him two options. She's like, okay, listen, you can either be killed as a devil, because that's half of what you are, or you can be taken in by me as a human. And like, she calls him like, you can be my pet. It's a little weird. It's a little weird, I'm going to be honest. She gives him the two options of, we can kill you right now because you're a devil, or you can work with us and live. And obviously, well, he kind of passes out. He chooses to work with them, but because that was his first time transforming, he does end up losing a lot of blood. Because, look at him. Chainsaws bust out of his body everywhere, man. He ends up losing quite a bit of blood, so he ends up passing out. But he ends up working for the Public Safety Devil Hunter's office in the experimental unit because she pairs him up with this other guy, and he doesn't get along with him. These two dudes do not really get along. I feel because Denji likes the main girl and the guy that he gets paired up with who's in charge of his unit. I feel like he also likes the head lady in charge. So that they're kind of button heads here. They both want the girl. I kind of get weird vibes from her about it. I'm not really sure. It's another reason to continue the series, Because they are public safety officers, they do patrols. And the guy that's in charge of Denji's unit, he pairs him up with a buddy. They do a buddy system, which makes sense. And he gets paired up with She's not a devil anymore. She's actually called a fiend, and her name is Power, and she looks like this. Because fiends are different than devils, she is the whole situation by herself. So they go out on patrol. They're also not really getting along. They're also kind of clashing. She used to be a blood devil, which is kind of interesting. Let me back up a little bit. So when Pochita merged with Denji, like these two were best buddies. They were super tight, like the best of friends. And so I don't know if this was kind of like in his mind, like when they merged, but Pochita was like, I want you to basically live your best life. Show me your dreams. I want you to live out your dreams. And so that's kind of what Denji's trying to do. He doesn't really have like huge mega dreams. His dreams are basically like, I want to sleep in a bed and eat real food, because the kid didn't even, he had like a shack for a house. He didn't know where his next meal was coming from. His dreams, very, very basic. But one of his dreams, because I guess the whole shtick of like he's a teenage boy, is to be able to touch boobs. I mean, boobs are nice. No one's denying that. So that's one of his dreams. And his partner, Power, a fiend, she's a girl. And so she strikes up a deal with him because she goes, hey, listen, I had a pet cat when I was a devil, and my pet cat was stolen by another devil. You help me get that cat back, and I'll let you touch my chest. And Denji says, you know what? Bet. They do have to kind of like have a little day pass. For some reason, Power is not allowed out on her own. And even when they're out patrolling, the head lady in charge is like, you need to keep an eye on her. She's basically under your command. Like, not under your command, but like she's under your watch. I feel like she has a lot more power, no pun intended, than we know. Like, she's really, really strong. So, and they even mentioned that she has like some kind of power, and I don't know if that has to do with her being a former blood devil. But anywho, she takes him to this like out in the country house, and she's like, right there, that's where the devil lives. But then all of a sudden the story changes. She's tricked him. She tricked him. Her cat wasn't stolen. Well, actually it kind of was. But Denji got tricked. Her cat was stolen, but the whole point of her bringing him out there was to basically trade the cat for him. And that's all. He was just used as a pawn. And if you've never seen a giant bat, you will if you read this book, because it's a giant bat devil. It's a really cool looking character, actually. Devils, if they're hurt or if they need to replenish their strength, they drink the blood of humans, and that's how they replenish strength, and they are able to heal themselves. So that's what he needed to do. He was like, yo, you bring me a human and I need to drink their blood, you can have your cat back. But Denji isn't all human. He's now part devil. So like it didn't really work out. The giant bat devil was able to heal enough because like his arm was cut off, but then he ends up eating the cat. He eats the cat, but then he also eats Power. And I don't know if they're going to be okay. I was more concerned about the cat, I'm going to be so honest. Now there's a giant bat demon who's about to go, not a demon, a devil. I don't know if there's a difference, but he's free. Like, he's huge. Man's is gigantic. And he's got his arm back. He's going to go terrorize the town. The giant bat devil's out here making a meal plan out of the town. And he's about to go start wrecking this town, okay? And then Denji, he got his bones crushed, and so he was kind of like laying off to the side. He got his blood drank and he got his bones crushed, but then he morphed into Chainsaw Man, and he's right back at it. He like latched on to the bat, and we end with a cliffhanger of the two of them about to start fighting. It's about to go down, which is another reason I want to continue this series. I really didn't think I was going to be as into Chainsaw Man as I am. I thought at most, okay, I'll have fun with it. It'll be a good time, and maybe it'll kind of be like Dan to Dan, and I'll read it. But At most, I'll just, you know, borrow it from my library, or I'll be able to find it online and read episodes just whenever I feel like it. It won't really be a priority. But I think I'm gonna, whenever I go back to my local game store, I'm gonna get probably volume 2, maybe volume 3, maybe, but definitely volume 2 for sure. Because this was really good. I really enjoyed this. I really like the art style. The writing's really funny. I really enjoy the characters. I really had a good time with this. And so I'm glad this one came up on the spin wheel, because the last 2 months weren't exactly my favorite. And it's not that I did not enjoy the last 2 manga at all. They just weren't up my alley. They weren't exactly for me. So I'm really excited that I enjoyed this one more than I thought, because I mean, as we saw when I did the spin wheel and this one came up, I think it was pretty clear on my face that I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I wasn't expecting it. And then I wasn't really looking forward to it. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't really looking forward to this one. Obviously, I was going to read it at some point this year, but I guess in my brain, I was like, not right now, maybe later, maybe in a couple months, but not right now. I'm not really feeling it. But yeah, okay, it came up on the spin wheel. All right, fine. But this was so fun. I really had a good time with this one. I gave it a 4. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It wasn't quite up to like a 5 out of 5 for me, but it was really fun. I really had a good time. I'm glad I'm going to continue this one, and I'm glad that I am going to be continuing, I guess is a good way to, like, I don't know how to phrase it other than I'm glad I found another one that I can keep going with the story, that I want to find out what happens next. Not just like, oh man, I wonder what happens next, but I don't have that urgency to really wonder about. Because this one I want to be like, no, I want to know. I want to know what happens next. You can't just tell me that Chainsaw Man, this guy who merged with a devil and now has chainsaws for arms and a chainsaw coming out of his head, and he's a human but can sometimes turn into a devil, and he's fighting a giant bat right now. Like, are we gonna get the cat back? The cat's name is Meowie, and it's a really cute cat. Like, is the cat okay? He's fighting a giant bat. Is that other devil fiend? Or are we gonna see her again? Like, I wanna know what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't read it, you should. I think it's a good time. Let me know if you've read any of the manga or if you've watched the anime, or both. I kind of want to watch the anime. I don't know, should I? I kind of want to watch the anime now, but I kind of want to read this first. Let me know below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll see what the wheel spin says next. We only have a few left. We're already halfway through the year. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.